Hello and welcome to this new episode of Open Book Entrepreneur. Today we have Lindsay here with us. She's a coach and also helping other businesses, and she's got amazing story because of her experience in building different businesses and so on. So Lindsay, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hi, Tony. Thanks so much for having me here. Basically, I help businesses, people that want to build an online business that supports their lifestyle. That's in short what I do. That's my passion. That's what I'm about. And I think that's one thing that sets me apart in the industry because I'm not just about quick cash and big money. I'm about building a lifestyle that brings you joy so you have time to do the things you love.
Wonderful. And also, when we were in the green room, you actually mentioned that you have these 4 steps that are required for most of the businesses to actually grow and expand. So, can you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Sure. Well, after working with lots of businesses, both brick and mortar and digital, I started to see a theme. There's an underlining theme. Every business needs to have this. And this, my dear friends, is something that most people are not telling you. You know, if you go out there to buy a course about how to build courses, they're going to teach you how to build a course. There's a 4 pillar framework that every business needs, no matter what direction you're going to go. And that's simply this. You need to focus on one audience now more than ever. And if you want to get into why that's important, it has to do with how the algorithms are shifting. But now more than ever, one human, talk to one human. I cannot stress that enough. And then the second piece is to have one transformation. Your whole business needs to focus on carrying people over the bridge, from problem to transformation and make that everything you do. Every product you offer is centered around that pillar. That's my third one is one product ladder. So how you create multiple streams of income over time is you create a product ladder that helps people carry through that journey, okay, as they go through that journey. And then last but not least is you need to, I stress this, just build it on one platform. And by that, I mean, market on one platform. Choose one platform. And if you want to really be bold, choose one long form and one short form platform and simplify your life. Because, when we try to do things everywhere, we're going to burn out. And not only that, I did an experiment. I worked really hard to produce a lot of content. And then I used a software called repurpose.io and I shoved that content out to all the things. I was all the places. But I learned something. What you might produce on Instagram, because you're producing it for your audience on Instagram, will shoot up. But that same piece of content might flop on TikTok, and it often does. That each specific software has a specific type of audience. And so you do better when you're trying to really go all in on that platform. Use it to its fullest potential, build an audience there, and then scale outward, when you have sales and time coming in.
Totally, totally. I 100% agree with this. And yeah, especially about this point on, having one ideal client and having ideal client avatar and having also being focused on one platform, unless you're big enough that you can actually hire people that are experts for different platforms, they can produce more content and things like that. Yeah. So, in terms of these 4 pillars, how do you actually help people apply that to their businesses?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people come to me in the very beginning where they either have an idea and they want to vet it because they don't want to build it without knowing if it's going to be successful. Or they're very lost, like they're in confusion mode. We've all been there. In the very beginning when you're like, I don't know, I want to make money online. And there's so many things to choose from. It's overwhelming. I mean, one person explained it to me. He's like, it's intimidating. I don't even know where to start. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm passionate about, but I don't even know how is it going to play out. And there's so many different avenues. Well, just because I've been doing it for so long and I've talked to a lot of experts in this industry, I'm able to help people kind of find that perfect sweet spot between not just what their gifts are and their skills are, but what their capacity is as a human. Because I want them to build a business that actually like doesn't overtax them. And also embraces what they love. So we start there. We just start with let's just narrow down your business model. That's conversation number one. And then we work together to build that over time, we either one on one or in a group setting, depending on how the client feels about it.
Totally. And when people come to you, are they clear on their zone of genius, or you help them with that, or what's happening about that?
Are they clear on what? Say that again.
On their zone of genius, like what exactly
Oh,
they love to do.
not
Yeah.
always. No. I was just talking to a lady who, this is an example. So she is in the lighting industry, commercial outdoor lighting industry. And this often happens to a lot of people. They're in a W-2 job or a corporate job, and they have an amazing skill, but because they're in that job, they see it all around them, right? And that's what was going on. She's like, I want to build an online course. I want to build an online business, but I'm not sure why would anybody buy this from me? And I'm like, well, tell me more about what you do, what do what you know. And she's like, but all these lighting companies already offer free courses on like lumens and how to light your home. And I go, is it really technical and boring? She goes, yeah. And I'm like, okay. So, now I'm able to say, okay, here's your skill. And oh, golly, what if we targeted landscapers and you could add an extra cash flow to their business because they could do architecture lighting for their clients? These people have no idea this course exists. But if you build this course specifically for that person, it's a whole nother ballgame. So she was just like, whoa, I didn't even think of that. She had no idea on how to take what she knew and pair it up with the person that needs it, right? That's kind of what I do in that first that first call.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. And then on top of that, obviously, if someone wants to connect to you or learn more about you, how they can do that?
I mean, the best way is on the Freedom Entrepreneur podcast. You can also get tons of good information. I produce a podcast episode every day. And then also I love to connect with people personally. Just email me. It's Lindsay at bizinaboxsolutions.com.
Okay, great. I can share that in the description of this episode. And can you tell us a little bit more about your podcast, please?
Sure, yeah. So I started my podcast back in around the just before COVID. I want to say it was 2020. And I started actually as the passive income examiner because I was all about cash. Like we were talking about Tony in the green room, I was like, I want to find the fastest way to make money so I could quit my job and do what I want when I want. Like I had that dream, just like a lot of people. And I was like, you know what? I want to learn from these experts and I just want to figure out what I want to do. I was in the same place a lot of my clients are. And that went on for a few years until I started to realize we were leading people down the wrong path. I would have people call me in a panic saying, oh my gosh, I have to quit my job in 90 days and I need to replace my income. What's the most fastest way I can? I'm like, wait, whoa, hold on. Passive income isn't passive. Let's be real. It's not. And I didn't feel morally right about that message anymore. So I rebranded to the Freedom Entrepreneur because, I realized I moved up here to Idaho. I live in a log cabin in the woods. I did all that because I wanted a specific lifestyle and I want a business that can I want to be outside with my sheep and my dog and not necessarily stuck behind a computer 40 or 50 hours a week, like I would be if I was in a W-2 job. So I'm like, I need to build a business that supports my lifestyle and make that my focus. And that's what I help people do.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, that sounds really good. Yeah. And just before we go, obviously, if there is any thought, any advice, anything else you would like to share with our audience?
Sure. I mean, know your North Star. And if you don't know your North Star, pray on it, think about it. Don't take action until you know. And what I mean by that is uh, design your life and then build your business to support that. So if like in my case, the whole log cabin thing I just described, when you have that vision in your mind and in your heart, you're going to get lots of opportunities that are going to look really good. But when you can make a decision like, is this getting me closer to my North Star or not? And you could say yes or no, depending on that. That's ultimately what you need because there's just so much with the speed of information happening at our fingertips, it's easy to get into FOMO and think you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for sharing that. Thank you all for watching and listening to this episode. If you liked it, drop us a like, subscribe, and also if you have any questions for Lindsay or me, you can ask them in the comments. And yeah, let's go from there. See you all in the next episode. Lindsay, thank you so much for being a guest today.
My pleasure.